Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Detutu. If you're new here, you're welcome. Thank you for tuning in to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. On this channel, I share the experiences and lifestyle of international students in Europe. And I have a drop down of the countries I'll be focusing on. It's in my first video. I'll link it up on the screen so you can have a look at that. Today is the third part and the last part of a three-part application process that I'm sharing with you, and I'll be sharing interview questions that I was asked in my interview and also questions that my friends were asked in their interviews. I'll try as much as possible to present a way to answer these questions so you can ace your interview. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe, share with your friends, share with your family, and let's grow this channel to 1,000 subscribers. For those who do not know, I am Nigerian and it's application in Lagos. So most of the information I'm sharing with you now, I'm sharing it from the experiences, from my own experience being a Nigerian and most of my Nigerian friends who had their interview in Lagos as well. With time, I'm going to have people from other countries share their experience as well and see if there's any comparisons, or if you're from this person's country, then you can get first-hand information about that. So without wasting too much time on the introduction, let's get right into today's business. Like this name states, it's an interview, so I would expect you to dress business casual or formal. So formal could mean anything to you. I think anyone who wants to study would have a better understanding of how they want to present yourself. You want to dress the way you want to be addressed, so dress formal. I would not expect anyone to go for an interview in crop tops or ripped jeans or faded jeans. I mean, dress well. That's the first tip. The second one is to show courtesy. There is usually someone at the entrance to check your documents to confirm you have the amount you have to pay for your application. Okay, make sure you have all your documents complete. If you have not seen my video about the required documents that you need for your visa application, you should check out my previous video, the second part of this three-part video, and inform yourself on that. So things like good morning, good afternoon, please, thank you. It doesn't cost you anything. Please be polite. As much as where I applied for my own visa interview, there was a man who was quite hostile, okay? But do not focus on external factors that are not relevant for your mission. Focus on your focus. I also like to point out that the questions have a particular flow to it. So firstly, it starts from personal questions, then it goes to the school, education, and then it goes on to financial questions. So firstly, you'll probably be asked to introduce yourself. So this is where you want to explain or present yourself in a good light. So you introduce yourself. My name is this, my name is that, I'm this age, I'm currently working here, I've applied to this school, I gained admission at this university, and I want to advance myself because of this. I intend to do this with my master's program. And if you want to progress to a PhD, then you also want to mention that that will be beneficial for you, no doubt. And if not, you could just say, oh, you want to do a master's because you think it would boost your chances of having better job prospects, improving your career prospects, obviously, and whatever. I mean, just introduce yourself in a good light. I would expect that you would. I'm sharing this information so that you can prepare ahead for possible interview questions, so it doesn't come to you as a shock when they're asking you these questions. Okay, then you'll probably also be asked, why are you here? So you want to say, oh, you're here because you want to apply for a student visa that would enable you to study this program. If it's a master's, if it's a bachelor's, name it. You'd also be asked the question, why are you leaving Nigeria? Now it's kind of tricky because you may have kind of mentioned it in why are you here, but it's a little different. Why do you want to leave Nigeria? It's like you trying to explain that the program you want to study is not available in your country of origin, or your country or in the country where you're applying for your visa. For example, in my case, I was hell-bent on studying a 2 master's program. My bachelor's was in English and I did not want to my bachelor's was in economics and I did not want to study pure economics anymore. I wanted it to have a combination of finance, a combination of business, or a combination of management, because I'm really passionate about businesses. Okay, so those were the courses I applied to. And unfortunately, in Nigeria, most of the master's program I saw at the time, I don't know about now, I saw at the time, were only offering an MSc in economics, pure economics, except I would want to do an MBA, and I did not want to do an MBA in Nigeria. Okay, I thought to myself that it made more sense to explain this point to them, that I've checked around. I just wasn't unable to find. If I was able to find, I would have kept my job and just pursued the master's alongside, right? But it just happened that there was no school offering that, so there was no way I could do it. If your company has offered you a study leave, you want to come with that document as well to show them that, okay, you have a high chance that you have ties to Nigeria and have no intention to abscond and run away after you get to Germany, because that's something that they actually look out for. So you want to cancel out that possibility of them thinking that. Question that you might be asked is, what would you do after your studies? Like I said previously, if you're doing a PhD, talk about your PhD. If you have a field, or you have a research topic or a research area that you want to focus on, if you're bad like that, I know, you might want to talk about that as well. Another thing you also want to talk about is, if PhD is not your part, you want to talk about your master's program, how it is beneficial to maybe your company that you're currently working at, or how you think it's going to be beneficial to the company you will be working at, or maybe you want to pursue a passion with the current master's or the current bachelor's program that you want to do. So you want to put yourself, pretty much you want to put yourself in a good light, just like a job interview, to make sure that you're accepted. Okay. And my own interview lasted for about 45 minutes. I stood all through my interview. I did not sit. It was like, you know how if you're visiting someone in prison, in movies at least, I haven't visited anyone in prison, and by the grace of God I will not, in Jesus' name, amen. How, you know how they pick the telephone and the other person on the other side picks the telephone, but you can see the person you're speaking with. It's like a see-through glass. Yeah, that's how the interview was for me. Probably changed now, I have no idea, because right now I do not really know anyone who is coming right now, but at the time that was the setting. But unfortunately the interviewer was sitting and I was standing. I don't know, it's not nice, I know, but it is what it is. There's another question I was asked was, have you ever been to Germany? My answer was no. My answer was no, because I had not. If you have been, maybe you applied through a different country and then you stopped over in Germany, you can talk about that. Try to emphasize on the fact that you did not overstay your visa duration. Usually you get a 6 months visa. So if it happens that you stayed 7 months, I don't know what you are going to do about your case, so I honestly do not know. So but hopefully that is not what happened to you. Yeah, so just try as much as possible to explain, like, as much as the world is now about like resist every urge to shalaye in your interview. Dako shalaye. Yeah, so please explain. That is my mother tongue, Yoruba. So please explain extensively. When the interviewer is convinced, they'll just tell you, okay, moving on to the next question. They would not tell you to shut up. Just keep on talking. If you have sensible things to say, that is, say it. Talk. If you're not a talker, please learn how to talk, because you have to ace this interview. Okay? Another tricky question that will be asked is, if you have any relative in Germany. If you do, you want to know where the person lives, the person's name, okay, or what the person does and how the person is related to you. Okay, and usually this question is asked if you're using a sponsor. I wasn't asked that question. So if you're using a sponsor, then you probably ask that question. Schools, yeah, this was where I flunked, but thankfully it did not affect me. I applied to 3 universities, and what happened was that the woman asked me, how many schools did I apply to? I said I applied to 3 schools. I named them, and then the third one, which was the University of Shamakad, and she asked me, where is that? I had no idea, but it did not really matter because I wasn't using that university to apply for my student visa. Okay, so it was not relevant, but she only asked that follow-up question out of curiosity. Okay, so again, another thing you want to know is the address of your school. I was asked the address of my school. I had no idea where my school was located. I only knew, okay, it had that it was close to this stop. This was a stop that was close to it. I did not know the exact address, like Nigerian Street 104 58428 Frankfurt or whatever. I had no idea. Okay, so thankfully that did not affect my interview because details about your school, for example, where it is located, the exact address, and the city, the capital, and stuff like that. The question you probably asked is why you are choosing this university. This is where you want to talk about maybe the professors, you want to talk about the university, the ranking of the university in Europe or in the world. You want to talk about the research fields of the professors, how reputable the professors are. You want to talk about the alumni network. Just talk about all the good stuff. I'm very sure everyone has a reason for choosing specific universities that they are going to, because I mean there are a lot of a lot of universities in Germany, by the way, and you choosing to apply to 3 universities only means that there's something about them that you like about it that is making you to choose this university to attend. So this is where you want to tell your interviewer about this. You want to talk about why you chose this program. So this is like a letter of motivation, why you're motivated to study this program. For example, in my case, I studied economics, mostly theory, obviously, because it's bachelor's, and I really did not have any experience in writing seminar papers or like I do now. So the only time I wrote a seminar paper was when I was writing my bachelor's thesis, and like I said, I wanted it to component masters. It was not offered in Nigeria, so that is why I'm choosing the program. I intend to be a business economics, like a business consultant, a business economics, talking about financing businesses, the growth of businesses, and so much more. So I made sure I touched those points when I was doing my interview. And again, I don't think anyone who wants to do a master's would not know what they want to use it for. So apply it to your own interests and what you intend to use your program for. So this is where you want to say that. Yeah, this is something that is a little tricky. It will definitely, I don't know why I'm repeating that, ask you why the courses that are offered in this program. By this, you want to talk about the courses that are offered, for example, development economics, so much more, microeconomics, like you want to name them. Okay, in some cases it is longer, but you have to learn them. I would advise you learn up to 10. Usually the interviewer will tell you to stop at some point, but please learn up to 10 so you can flow when you're being asked this question. Another question will be asked is who is sponsoring education. This is where you just mention who the person is. They will ask you the job of this person. You will also have to mention that. If you're using a sponsor, obviously your sponsorship letter is included in the documents that you've submitted. And yeah, if you have a scholarship, obviously I assume you'd have a scholarship letter confirming your scholarship. So you want to get all your documents in place. Like I said, if you do not know the documents you need, check the university website you're applying to, check the embassies website as well. You can also have a look at my previous video to have a brief overview of the important documents that you need. There are other general questions that will be asked during your interview. For example, they'll ask you the day of the unification of the Eastern and Western Germany. These questions are not to scare you, to be honest. It's just to confirm that you're actually really interested in Germany. So this is where you want to know the name of the Chancellor, Angela Merkel. You want to know the name of the mayor of the state you're studying, the states and their capitals of Germany. There are 16 states in Germany, so you want to name each one of them. Usually you will not name it till the end, but it's safer to know every single one of them because you don't know who your interviewer will be. Okay, just to be on the safer side. So those are the questions that will be asked. In summary, I would advise, this is my own advice, to apply for your visa interview, your visa appointment immediately after you've received your admission letter. Okay, there's a tool for you to apply for visa appointments. Make use of it. Learn how to use it. It's not complicated at all. So make use of that to apply for your visa interview. Try as much as possible to start collating all your documents before you even get your admission letter. Okay, so that way you are preparing ahead. Usually most of the documents you need are easy to find, but maybe they are not. So for example, if you're sponsoring yourself, you want to start collecting the money and making sure that you have the money available. Okay, so it's not going to be like, oh, just at one go you have to look for 10,000 euros to sponsor yourself. If for example you need a sponsor, you want to have created contact with your sponsor to help you with the sponsorship letter and send it across to you. And if you have a scholarship, if you apply for a scholarship, I would assume that if your scholarship is independent from your school, you want to start going with the process and looking for the requirements that you need for your scholarship. Okay, so those are the things that I would say. The application fee is between 60 to 70 euros, 60 euros usually, but depending on the exchange rate, you might have to pay more. I mean, you're paying in your local currency, you're not paying them in euros. Okay, so you're paying your local currency, so depending on the exchange rate, it might fluctuate. So yeah, I cannot really say how much exactly, but it's always stated in euros, but you pay the equivalent in your local currency. Okay, so this is the end of my video. I hope I was able to share some important information that will be relevant for you. Very soon I'm going to be sharing information about life in Germany. That's the fun part. Gratefully to God, they are lifting the bans gradually, so it's not only going to be indoors, me talking to the camera all the time. We're going to be going out, having a look at maybe places to shop, other things to do in Germany. And yeah, that being said, if it happens that that you're watching this video, you've had a look at my first video and you are in an European country and you'd like to share your experience, you like to have people learn from your experience, do send me an email or send me a message on Instagram. I'll make sure to reply to you as soon as possible. If you have not subscribed, what are you doing? Do not forget to subscribe, share and like. If you have any comments or you have particular content that you'd like to see, send me a message and we'll work on that. Till next time, peace.